So here we are with episode 3 of I'm in Love with the Villainess, the series where people in the comments keep telling me that it's going to get better. Rei is going to get better. I promise that she does. And later on in the series, it's really good. And my favorite one so far was the one that's like, a lot of light novel readers understand that the first part of the story is not as good. And it gives me so much flashbacks to Citrus, because that's honestly how I used to say for Citrus, where I'm just like, look, the first 4 volumes of Citrus, it sucks, alright? But like, once you get past it, it's really good. So like, I understand it very much. But we'll just have to see how this episode goes. If you like the video, like the video. If you dislike it, dislike it. I do have my full length up on Patreon and early access to non-seasonal and some seasonal shows on the YouTube memberships. Other than that, let us get started. Has been tough on me. It's tough, but you're enjoying, huh? I still haven't looked up the VA for these people yet. Oh, she's playing a game with Rod. Oh, pretty good, huh? Oh, it's got a... Oh, feeling a little bit of some sort of respect, maybe? Now I've got Rod out of the way. I was thinking, I was like holding back. You cannot escape from Rod. Oh, what's wrong? Swooning these ladies, man. Hey! Well there, you. No need a backseat gamer. Uh-oh. Oh my god, I just got a poker? I was trying to spend time with Claire over here. Their relationship? Just want to participate in a little gossip. Childhood friends. Sounds like some Yuri shit right there, but use secretly admires him, huh? Aha! 6 and 9. Nice. Holy shit, this rumor spread already? No poker face. It's been years and I still don't understand poker. You know, a whole new card, huh? Four of a kind. Wow, what incredible luck this boy has. Oh. Wow. Alright. Oh my god, his affection level is going up and up. As his affection goes up, Misha's affection is just drastically dropping through the ground. Thane? Is that a harp? Shh, Claire, shh. Claire, you can't just come up and just... He's here to play in secret for a reason! Until he finishes. Claire! Look at this sad boy. Panther, she had this prepped. All I'm thinking about is like the way that she did those. That's made out of paper, right? That looked like she could get paper cuts from it. Oh my god, it's been rigged. Damn Thane. Alright, he just said to hold it, alright? Not... Yeah. I just love Thane in the background, just so unmotivated, but still doing it anyways. Oh my god, is this... Wait, unless Thane is, you know... Oh, she's number 3 again. Oh, come on now, Claire, we gotta give him... I gotta give him permission. At least he's considerate, you know? Wow, she got petted by her crush. Oh, hell breaks loose when it's Rei who's king. Cheating. Of course. It's been rigged from the start. When did y'all talk about this? Before the game, but... Well, maybe kiss on the cheek, not like on the lips, you know? A little too fast. This is not how you progress romance. The king's order are absolute. Uh-oh. He's angry. But... But by figuring this out... Damn. I'm out of here. Oh, we've got Lene, who's a little confused. Thought you like her, but why are you trying to get her with Thane? So, Rei, are you a homosexual?
普段のレイの言動からして信用はないですが、同性愛者だからといってその反応は偏見が過ぎるかと存じます。例えばクレア様は異性愛者ですよ。
セイン様が好きなんですよね。
ちゃとは言えないの。いろんな偏見があるみたいね。
知る機会もないだろうし、仕方ないよ。
Mm-hmm.
クレア様を毎日めでられるだけで幸せだし。というわけでクレア様、ラブラブしましょうか。
しませんわよ。というか、あなたがいつもそんなだから私も身構えるんですのよ。それについては全面的に同意です。レイはクレア様のことを諦めているわけ？私はこの会話をどういう気持ちで聞けばいいんですか？
Understandable, Claire. Understandable.
私ね、レイちゃんはクレア
Oh,
様
Lene's bringing it up.
思っていたんだけど、イカサマしてまでセイン様とクレア様をくっつけようとしていて。
Well, since she loves her, she wants her to be happy, right?
というか、もともとクレア様に思いを受け取ってもらえるとは考えてないんだ。で、それを応援したいし、私は近くにいられるだけで幸せだし、それに何より私の目的はクレア様と結ばれることじゃなく、
You just want her to be happy, right?
クレア様を幸せにすること。でもだからって好きなことを諦められるかっていうと、それはちょっと無理ですね。
レイ。
なんて、まあそういうわけなので。
Now that I've just said all these serious things, I'm just joking this whole time.
私は現状の関係で割と幸せなので。
Alright, now say that with your eyes open. You closing your eyes is the equivalent as the anime only showing the mouth.
もう完全にいつも通りだ。いつも通りに私はちょっと
Feels like a little bit.
辛い。
Mm-hmm. The feeling of falling in love with straight girls. The gays, they can relate.
ねえ、あの平民。ああ、女なのにクレア様に怒ってるって。
私の振る舞いは偏見を助長してしまっているかもしれない。
気に入られているのだって物珍しくて面白がられているだけでしょうに。
I mean, you're not exactly wrong, but
けど茶化して笑い飛ばしてでもいないとやっていられなくて。
understandable. Damn, did Claire just... Oh, shit! She out here protecting Ray out here. I thought I was just dumping tea onto the ground, but y'all got in the way.
まさかクレア様がレイをかばうなんて。かばったとはちょっと違うかもですね。クレア様は多分自分が無意識に曲がったことをしていたのが許せなくてモヤモヤしてたんじゃないでしょうか。
Wants to make it up at least.
そこにちょうど悪口を言う彼女たちが来た。八つ当たりするのにこれ以上ぴったりな相手はいないですよね。子供なのでクレア様。
Well, sometimes it's hard to deal with your feelings internally.
酸っぱくて食べづらいわ。
あら、だから美味しいんじゃないですか。
That's why you gotta mix it with the rice and the beef.
クレア様、私のこと嫌い。
当たり前でしょ。
Starstruck right there.
でも私は大好きです。
Okay. Well, I mean, I knew that that scene was going to come up, right? But I mean, I can understand in the way like that the characters reacted, right? Misha they're just having lunch, and Misha just comes in and it's just like, "Hey, Ray, are you one of those gays?" And what was it, Lene, who's just like, why are you suddenly just asking her this? So it just really just comes right in, and it's like, yeah, the way that it does, like, it just comes in sudden, but the way that the characters reacted to it, right, that it does feel like it's sudden, so it's understandable. I'm gonna need to gather my thoughts for that, though, so... On one hand, as with some people have said in the comments, last episode was the peak of the way that Ray is, right? And you can see that here in this episode. She very much settled down after this fucking high that she's gotten from being isekai'd into this world. Okay, this is preview. All right. Well, I'm gonna go back to the center. All right. So that was episode 3 of I'm in Love with the Villainess. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments down below. You know that I always like talking to you guys. For me, I thought that this was a pretty nice episode. Well, as I was talking about during the ending, right? Rei has settled down from that high that she was experiencing from finding out that she's been isekai'd into the world of her dreams to be able to spend time with Claire, the person who she is, who she adores, who she loves, right? And as we see in this episode, she kind of comes to the conclusion, but perhaps it's more like she already knows how this was going to play out, in the idea that, well, I might be in love with you, but you are not going to be in love with me, right? You're not going to reciprocate my feelings for, you. Which, you know, I'm thinking about what, I think it was like last episode, where I was talking about like the idea of, well, someone who is in love with you and they're like actively showing it, but if you are not, if you're not able to reciprocate that feeling, or if you just don't like them, it just feels very uncomfortable and awkward. And that's how I felt during like the first-ish 2 episodes. But now here in this 3rd episode, we can see that Rei is starting to switch on over, even though we kind of already know that, you know, Rei knows that Claire is in love with Thane, and that perhaps maybe she could try to get Claire together with Thane, but here she fully switches on over to that. And we also, in this episode, we got to see more of the baller princes as well, right? Here in this first part, we get to see Rod and his and his groupies of dudes who have like very similar haircuts. Honestly, what this looks like is that these 4 boys in the back, it looks like they have the same haircut as his, except they're just split into 2 parts. Very fun. But in the first scene, oh my god, it's just more boys with similar haircuts. This is the only haircut you're allowed to get in the academy. Anyways, here is Rei playing with Rod, because, well, he's been persistent. He's been like, hey, we're not gonna hang out, but, you know, let's do this little chess game, I suppose. And so we see that Rei is playing, but she is holding back on Rod, and Rod, being, I don't know, the genius prince and all that, he gets high scores. He is able to see that Rei is holding back, kind of like the way that she was holding back during the magical aptitude test, something around there. And I find it very funny that Rei is over here, he says like, after next time, no holding back, and Rei is just like, oh shit, he knows that I was going easy on him. And it's like, it's the idea of, well, he already knew that you were holding back, or at least you were trying to mess up the, hold on. Okay, what was I saying? Rod knows that Rei held back, or purposely missed her mark during the whole magical test stuff. So he already has a suspicion that this is what she does. So when he sees her playing this chess, right, he's going to be on the lookout that, hey, is she actually holding back, or is she actually putting in her real strength? And so he's much more aware and much more suspicious of that idea. So here's Rei trying to do the same thing again. Be all surprised that Rod figured her out, and very fun that she's out here just continuously, unexpectedly getting his affection level up, because she's trying to hold back in order to just, you know, try to get him off her back. But, you know, perhaps it's the chase that eludes Rod, that Rod enjoys when it comes to this whole spiel. Right after that, we see that Claire is on fire. She's got a fiery spirit, you know, maybe she feels that little competition coming in. And so we also see you right after this as well, right? We see that he's got his entourage of ladies coming about. And you're such a pretty boy out here. But we see Rei and Claire playing some chess. And here is Rei, who is not really holding back when it comes to Claire, just because she wants to rile Claire up, because she finds her frustration, her frustrated face and stuff very very cute, very entertaining, somewhere around there. And here we are seeing more of you, who has just from like glancing at this, he's already figured out the entire game plan that Rei is doing. That Rei is purposely pushing her into a corner somewhere around there. And immediately, right after that, he's just decided, or, sorry, not pushing Claire into a corner, but deliberately putting Claire on the offensive to get you where she wants you. My pronouns just went all over the place there. But you just took this opportunity to just bring them on over to the poker table. Very fun, you know. It's nothing like a little gambling for these kids in the academy, you know. Gotta get them into this gambling addiction real young. What is this, kakegurui? But here we are with Misha as well, and we get to hear from Rei that Misha and you are childhood friends, but as we learn from Misha, she comes from a ruined noble family, and so with the previous conversation between you and Misha here, Yu says, hey, here at the academy, we're all equal, so you can speak a little bit more informal to me, so we could kind of get into that insight of perhaps because Misha feels like she comes from a ruined noble family, she's not at the same level as you anymore, and so that's why she's putting up this air that, hey, you know, he's literally a prince, and I'm not part of a noble family, or at least my noble family has been ruined, so we're not on the same level, albeit I don't really feel like from what I feel from Misha, perhaps, you know, they might not even have been on the same level, because, like, a noble and then, like, a royal, it's a little different, right? A royalty is maybe just a tad higher than just being from a noble family, but now the distance between them is even greater now that her noble family has been ruined. And of course, we learn that Misha does admire you, something that we can kind of get a hint from the opening, with her having that Oni mask when she sees you surrounded by all the ladies, right? His entourage and such. So the poker game went, and you ends up being the winner because he cheated. Didi is his assistant, his servant, somewhere around there, and he's the dealer, so of course, Yu ends up getting the advantage, but it seems Yu recognizes that Rei realizes that this has been a rigged game from the start, and perhaps he did this in order to see her reaction, to see if she has figured it out, since he seems to be a smart individual. And, he went to the chess game and he saw them for, like, I don't know, a few seconds, or maybe he's been looking at them for, like, a few minutes before he came in. But, you know, he glanced at the chess game and he just knew what Rei was doing. So perhaps the way that he's looking at Rei, he might have an understanding that she realizes and such. And Misha's not happy about this. She's not happy at the idea of Yu's affection level going up for Rei. She might be my best friend, but we're not gonna be best friend anymore if I keep going after her boy. And right after this, we end up seeing Thane, because, well, we saw the other brothers, we saw the other princes, so we might as well see Thane. The boy who is unfortunately last of the princes, in terms of what, aptitude or whatever, right? He's very insecure about his position, because, well, I mean, if is to be out here for, to be king and all that, his two other brothers, I assume they're brothers, right? Or at least stepbrothers, somewhere around there. So the other two princes are just way better than he is, and he just feels a little sad. Also, he has like the same hair color as, why can't I not remember the one guy from Baccarina? But it's the same hair color, and he has the same issue where, you know, his blonde brother, Gerald, the man with 3 names. But yeah, you know, he gets jealous of Jord because Jord is just so much better. He's just perfect at everything and such, right? And while he's not. So that's Thane, except I would assume perhaps he's a little less hot-headed, hot-blooded. blood hot. Okay, anyways. We've got Claire who just hits into fangirl mode. But Thane ain't out here for them fangirls, alright? He just wants someone to... I just realized Thane also, like, has a... I would assume he has an affinity for music, because he plays the harp. Alright, I have to search up that guy's name. I have to search up George's brother now. Giordo, that's the other... Alan, that's his name. Okay. Alan also has, like, good he has like good piano skills, if I remember correctly, right? And then here's Thane, who's good at playing the harp and everything. Fun. Anyways, yeah, Thane's out here. He just wants to play his music. Some girl just comes up to him and just like, oh my god, you play so well, and just interrupt his playing session. And Ray knows that, and she's just like, well, Claire, you needed to wait for him to finish first, right? You can't just interrupt the guy while he's playing. And Thane not really enjoying this. I love that he just puts the heart back in and immediately like, I'm out of here. And so Ray puts up the King's Game. And it's so funny, every time I think about the King's Game, all I think about is Risa? Is that what her name is? Yeah, it's Lisa, right? I'm thinking Reset Risa from Persona 4. But yeah, every time I hear King's Game, all I hear is her English voice actor. King's Game! The King's word is law! That's all I think about. It's fantastic. But here we are with the King's Game, and Ray had worked out with Lene that this game is also rigged. And she wants it, she rigged it because she wants to try and get Claire and Thane together. So the first part of the getting Claire and Thane together is for Thane to pet her head. And Thane, being the considerate guy, it's like, hey, you know, I don't want to touch a girl's hair without her permission. Understandable. But she gives him permission, gets a little pat, and she's out here just fangirling about it. Fantastic. And so Ray decides to go for the kill, which is the classic meme of now Keith. Keith. And Thane, who has already been considered on the idea of like, hey, I'm not going to touch a woman's hair, a lady's hair without her permission, and now here you are fucking getting me to kiss her? Like, excuse you, like, what the So of course he gets mad at that. He's not gonna do this. This is not a good way to progress any sort of romance, right? This is not some fucking magical elevator shit from Hallmark. Hey yo, those fucking... Is it like a Christmas thing, or is it just a specifically a series of people kissing on the elevator and falling in love? It's a Hallmark movie, right? Anyways, as Thane figures out that this game doesn't really show whether you're a good king or not, right? Ray is just fucking with him. Ray is over here fucking with him. Saying like, you've got it! That's the whole objective of this game! Is to find out that this game does not tell you whether you're a good king or not, and you figured it out, Thane. God, what a fucking genius. But this does bring some question for Lene, as she wonders, like, hey, I thought that Ray likes Claire, but why is she actively trying to get Claire with Thane? Makes no sense. And this hits us to this final scene, there's this final scene where Misha just comes out and just says, are you gay? Or as she says, are you what they call gay? And we get hit into a very serious topic about the idea of homosexuality, and you can see the way that Claire reacts and the way that Misha points out that the way that you react is very much a prejudice, right? It's the idea of maybe kids in high school or middle school or whatever, and they find out that one person is gay, and so they have this idea of like, oh my god, because they're gay, if we're in the locker room, they're gonna eye me up, specifically me, right? They're gonna eye me up, and like, I don't want that. So it's, yeah, it also comes from the idea of like, oh, just because they're gay, they're going to be lusting for everybody, which is what they point out, right? I think it's Rei or Misha, maybe both, that points out that just because they're gay doesn't mean that they're going to be lusting for everybody. There's going to be one specific person. It's just like straight people, right? Where here's where they made the example of Claire, who, despite there's the option of the 3 princes, she only likes one of them, while Rei has the option of all these other girls, but she only goes for Claire. They put on that topic of prejudice and the idea of, well, if you are gay, that means that you are after everybody of the same sex. Wow. So I enjoy them bringing up this topic and Rei talking about her sexuality, right? The idea that, well, I've never really been in love with a guy, and I'll probably will never be in love with a guy. And then we have Lene, who kind of comes in and she's like, does gender really matter though? You know, maybe you just so happen to fall in love with a girl, and that's it. And Rei corrects her on that, like, well, gender does matter. That's the whole point of, you know, a person who is gay. Albeit they, I'm not really, I was gonna say gay is on a spectrum, but, you know, it is, but they don't really put much into that one. But I remember this one when this was written. This was written like many years ago, like the first part of this. So understandable that this topic, I like that it's been talked to, but it is in the way that it is basic in the form that it is right now. But I think that it's fine if it's been explained in a very basic way, because if you go a little bit more complexity and all that, like, it might just fly over people's head. Well, actually, going back to this whole thing again, because I'm back to this point where Lene is the one who says, now, gender doesn't matter when it comes to love, and I believe Rei who says, no, that's not right. Rei continues, logically speaking, it might be correct to say that gender doesn't matter if you love someone, but at the very least, I'm never going to fall for a man. Perhaps that could be the idea of the spectrum, but it also, honestly, I think it also falls under the idea of, falls under the idea of, like, transgender, right? If you genuinely love someone, it might not matter the gender of who they are. So, I can understand that. Okay. And so we get onto this point where Rei says, well, it's not like my feelings are ever reciprocated anyways. And we kind of have this little bit of pain that comes from Rei, where perhaps she has felt this before. And as I think, as I said during the reaction, right? This is a feeling that I wouldn't say all gays, but, you know, a lot of gay people have gone through, the idea of falling in love with a straight person and not being able to have your feeling reciprocated. And so as we continue with this, we get Rei having her, I was going to say declaration, can't think of another word right now, but her saying like, yeah, I guess you could say that I've given up on Claire. I know that Claire is straight and that she's never going to return my feelings. And but the thing is that the only reason why I'm not sure if I'm wording this correctly, but let me just cross all that out. But the reason why Rei is still with Claire is that Rei just wants Claire to be happy. And if she knows the plot of the story and all that, right? And if Claire is the villainess, we kind of have the idea of Villainess and otome games. They typically don't really have good endings. So there's also that idea. And so, you know, now that Rei is here and now that she's able to, you know, divert her actions from this otome game plot, she wants to be able to give Claire her happiness. And if her happiness lies with Thane, then that is a-okay. And so she just wants her to be happy. And, you know, I feel like maybe that a lot of gay people would feel that way too, where they feel like, okay, even though I like this person and they don't reciprocate my feelings, I still want them to be happy, right? I still want them to be happy in the end because I love them. And of course, in case you don't know on why I'm saying that, I would assume that this is what gay people feel like, because I don't really experience it. I've never really experienced the idea of like crushing on someone or falling in love with someone. I never really get that. So to say that I understand like on a personal level is, incorrect by all means. So like I just know from people that I've talked to and people who have shared this experience, shared their experience with me. But I think, as I've mentioned, Rei shows us this pain that she feels, right? Even though she wants Claire to be happy and she puts that as her excuse for, and also, I don't know if I should say excuse, but the thing that keeps, that allows her to keep this barrier up, right? And the way that she says it too, where she knows that even though this, things are always going to stay the way that it is, Claire's never going to reciprocate her feelings, and she just wants Claire to be happy because she has given up on her and such. The idea of that is still very painful because, well, having a one-sided feeling, having a one-sided feeling is painful on for both ends. And then we've got these mean girls in the back who are talking about like, ooh, can you believe this girl's out here trying to swoon Claire, but she's a girl. Oh my god. And so Rei is thinking about like, yeah, maybe my behavior has been encouraging their prejudice. Understandable. Just the way that she says it, right? Making jokes and laughing things off is the only way that I can get by. And it's a very understandable defensive mechanism. It's what I do a lot of the time, right? I do, what is it? The idea of I do a lot of self-degradation, because the idea is if I make fun of myself, people can't make fun of me, okay? Because I've already dealt the damage to myself, so any more pain that comes to me doesn't hurt as much, right? That's the whole idea. And as Rei tries to laugh that off, here we have Claire coming in with the save, or at least I hope so, because Crunchyroll decided to reset on me. Claire dumps the tea on the mean girls, and she she tells Rei to, let's go, let's get on out of here. And here's Misha, who says like, wow, never thought Claire would stand up for Rei. And Lene's like, oh, I don't really think that's her standing up for Rei. And she explains that perhaps Claire felt bad about the prejudice that she's had, and now that, these people have talked to her about it, she understands this feeling that she has is prejudice, and, perhaps maybe, I was gonna say prejudice is not something that she should have as as a noble, but she kind of showed that in the last episode when she says commoners, right? And then Lene just stares at her like, okay. But yeah, so we know that Claire on a level does kind of care about Rei. It's just that she's a giant tsundere and she can't freaking show it. But also, as with what Lene says, I think Claire couldn't excuse the fact that she had unintentionally done something wrong, and it left her feeling ill at ease. And then two girls saying mean things just happened by. What better target for her on which to take out her anger, right? Understandable. It's the idea of sometimes looking at yourself internally is really hard. And so for Claire, she finds that inner turmoil of hers very difficult to manage. And so here's these two girls who just happens to be here talking shit and having kind of like the same prejudice that she just had. She's just like, okay, these two are kind of like me. And like, and I've realized that I've done something ill because they're external. It's a lot easier to deal with them than having to deal with myself internally. So I'm gonna go dump tea on them, and I'm gonna fucking be mean to them and all that. I'm gonna put my anger on them, which is understandable. It's kind of like, some people who has like anger, right? They have anger inside them, and like they don't know how to deal with it. So then they just start punching the wall, or if they're you know, if they know how to relieve their anger, right? They go to boxing class, or, you know, they box and stuff, right? They just fucking punch at the punching bag, and they're able to express their anger through that, right? Because that's an external thing, and it's harder for them to deal with it internally than it is to express it externally. So I like that that Lene explains that. And then in the final scene, I felt like I said in the final scene before too, but here we are. Technically, it's still kind of in the same segment, right? With Ray and Claire walking. Claire's in front of her. Ray asks, "Do you hate me?" And Claire, wait, actually, just to check, "You hate me, don't you?" Okay. And then Claire looks back. She's like, "Of course I do. I hate you." And, you know, maybe that's just Claire's way to say that she loves her in the end, right? It's just the tsundere way. So, having that little feeling of confirmation, right? Ray feels a little bit better. Like, hey, even though you hate me, I still love you, though. And, yeah, that's it. I like this episode. I like talk that they had about this. Okay, oh yeah, now that all of this is over, I just wanted to make mention, for all you anime-only watchers, just go away from this part, alright? This is light novel stuff only. So, I did mention that I have read through the first arc of this story, or as you can say, the first book of the story. So I do remember how this is going to go. When I was talking about you and Misha and how, like, oh, they've been childhood friends, that sounds very much like a Yuri thing. And if I remember correctly, you is the one who is like a woman, but like they're cursed or something. Is that what it is? Like they're cursed to be a man? Somewhere around there. I can't remember whether like you is actually a woman but disguised as a man, or if it's the idea of what is it? Or it's the idea of it's a curse or whatever. I currently can't remember. Don't answer it. If you're already typing on that, don't answer that. I only know like the big-ish major details, but like all the smaller details, you don't need to fill it in. I'll figure it out as the anime continues. And I know that like all the princes got like some sort of issue, because of course they do. And I can't remember if like Rod's got a curse as well, but I currently can't remember. All I know is that they've all got their own fucking issue. I just can't remember what it is specifically. You don't need to answer that for me. And of course, I also know that Lene has like a fucking incest plot somewhere around there, right? She's in love with her brother and such, and eventually she goes off. And I know that the whole chocolate thing is a part of Ray's plan, right? This is something that that she had planned all the way before, because she's using her modern knowledge to create chocolate, and that's how she's been getting money. And when Lene is like leaving to run away with her brother, you know, and do their little incest stuff, Ray gives her like the recipe and all that, and like eventually Lene builds like this competitor essentially to Ray's company. So that's I believe that's the most that I know. Well, I mean, also I know that Ray's planning this whole thing for the revolution that's going to happen, and that's why she tells Ray like, hey, never give up and all that, which I still find very funny, that even though she makes that promise towards the end after Claire finds everything out anyways, Claire's just like, all right, I'm just gonna go with my father and get executed. And Ray's just like, what the fuck? I can't change anything in the end. Anyways, I think that's basically all I remember from this first arc. So, and I also know that like I've read just like a tiny bit of like the second arc that comes in. Like there's those two children that comes in, and then like for some reason like Ray and Claire literally only started their relationship and like they're already being put on with kids. Anyways, we'll get to that when we get there. Well, we still got the first arc to go to, but I just wanted to lay that out for all you light novel readers to let you know that this is what I remember specifically. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for listening, light novel readers. And I'll see you guys in the next episode, maybe. I don't know.